Yes. So again, welcome to the second WebEx session on SUR module. And today, what we are going to see is the following points. So we'll start with a very short review. We have put together a few questions to make sure that you were paying attention to our yesterday presentation. So we will start with that, and then we will see how to create an SAT. SAT meaning standard annex template. So again, if I'm using acronyms that you do not understand, please write that in the chat and I will try to answer to it. And I apologize, sometimes I'm very getting used to the acronyms and forgetting to use the full name, but if there's any issue there, just send that via the chat and I will answer or explain. So the SAT is, as I said, the standard annex template, and is, as we said, we have seen yesterday, can be created by people who have, or at least planners who have admin role. So not all of you will be able to create SATs, but the process in the SAT creation is very similar to creation of SUR, since this, I mean, in the system technically it's very similar. So we will show you how to create an SAT to all of you. So please pay attention to it, even if you do not have an admin role, because the steps are very similar in terms of creation of annexes, inserting the different items for Annex B and C. So all the steps are very similar. So once you will be familiar with those steps, it will be very easy for tomorrow, for example, when we start creation of an SUR without an SAT, without any template. So we will see also, as I said, how to create an annex, the different annexes. We've seen that as of today, there's some annexes available in the system, some part of it are outside the system, and we will review that. We will also talk about the special case equipment, how to create an SUR from SAT. So once there's an SAT there, you can, good morning, Shalini. I think you are unmuted.
Sorry.
No worries. No worries. So welcome, Shalini, and the team there. So we will see the creation of an SUR from SAT, and we will do a demo. And actually, today will be much more in the system, showing you concretely how to create all that, rather than spending time on the PowerPoints. However, the PowerPoint that we have prepared is really step-by-step approach, so it can be a very good reference or a guide for you while doing the exercises. So we have prepared some exercises for you, and then after the session we will remain available for any questions for more or less 1 hour. So that's the agenda of the day. So yesterday, in terms of reviewing what we have done yesterday, very quickly, we've seen the end-to-end process for the UCMS, for the application. We've seen the end-to-end process for the SUR, and we will go more in detail today. And we have seen some navigation points. I mean, at least the most important ones. We will continue today while I am creating the SAT and SUR. I will show you some of the navigation parts. Yes, so I have noticed that some of you have already completed the first exercise, the one online with the link, and if you did not have the chance to go through the 5-6 different questions, we will really recommend you to do so before the end of the WebEx sessions. I mean, before the end of the full process. I mean, as we explained on Monday during the VTC, the exercises are also part of the assessment. So please go to the exercise. It's still live and it's still there available for you. So if you did not have a chance to do that, please do. So as I mentioned, we have prepared some questions, very quick ones, to see and to check if all the concepts of yesterday have been integrated. So I am now opening a pooling questions, and it should appear on your screen. If not, please let me know. I don't know. Shalini or anyone can confirm that. Yes, I can see that some of you are taking or answering the questions. Fantastic. So you have 3 minutes, 2 minutes and a half now. Just take your time, read the questions, and we will review that once it's all done together. You still have 1 minute and a half to go through the questions. So 10 seconds left, and I think most of you have answered the questions. So thank you very much. Fantastic for doing the exercise. That's fantastic. And let me try to see if you can see. Let me try if you can see the answers. I don't think you will be able. I don't know if you see that on the screen right now. Unfortunately, no. Okay. So, okay, let me go back to the question and I will read them if you, unfortunately. Okay. I don't know if you can see them right now. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So we had as a first question, which role can create an SAT? And actually, as we explained yesterday, maybe too fast because the answers were not that good in the pooling. So the answer is users with admin role. So yes, yeah. So maybe we can show you the results instead of using. Yeah. So we said yesterday that some of you will receive the admin role, and this will be shared. The list of admin users with admin role, or at least will be clarified later as well. So some of you, as I said, will receive the admin role and will be able to create SATs. The names of those who will have the admin role will be shared later with how to say that, with the exercise, sorry. So, and I see here the admin role, the users with admin role were also part of system testing or have familiarity with other enterprise applications. Normally, that's how the admin has been selected from the list of participants. The second question was, what are you doing while querying your results? So, of course, you are filtering your list records. And I can see here that most of you got this. Most of you got this right. So, can you retrieve previous saved queries? And yes, you can. Danny showed that yesterday. And also, the last question was why the system document is useful. And we've seen that the system document is one feature that is included now in UCMS, and that's where all the reference documents will be stored. And actually, this is very important for SUR module because that's where we can access the SUR main body template. So you've seen yesterday, we have explained that the SUR main body template is available in the system, but needs to be downloaded and updated outside the system. And once the whole SUR has been approved and signed, etc., then you put everything back in the system, and then we will concretely see more how to do that today. So, and again here, most of you got the answer. So that's, I think, was quite clear. I see that some of you do have audio problem, and I would just recommend to just click on the top of your screen. You should have an audio tab there, and you can configure the audio by clicking there. So SAT. The SAT is the standard Annex template, as I said, and it's a new concept that has been introduced in the system. So this is actually very useful because it's a baseline for the planners, and it's also will help the planners to avoid to start from scratch and preserve institutional knowledge. So instead of having to start every single SUR from zero, the SAT will be there and help us, and we will see how and why this is a very useful tool. So the aim of the SAT is to develop an easy way for the system users to create SUR's document through the creation of reusable template. We have seen yesterday that the SAT is mission and troop and police agnostic. So this is very, there's no mission data linked to any SAT. This will also help defining the unit-specific requirement that can be repurposed for mission-specific and unit requirements. It is used to leverage the available master data in selecting major equipment unit characteristic before and the major equipment and self-sustainment category. So it is also a standard format for the Annex B and C, so to define the major equipment and the self-sustainment. And it's, as I said, to standardize the format and the structure of an SUR. So actually the SAT we have seen yesterday is that the starting point for the creation of the SUR. And the SAT is and will be, because for the moment there is only the SUR module live, but the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, all the three parts will be linked. So from an SAT, you will be able to create an SUR, which is mission or rapid deployment specific SUR, and this SUR will be linked to the MOU. So one comes from the other. So as I said yesterday, this is the end-to-end process for the SUR. So we start with SUR business. This is the business end-to-end process. We start with the SUR template creation, and then we go to SUR draft initiation. And actually, the SAT is in the first box. As I said, under the standard Annex template, we can start creating the annexes, actually. And as we've seen yesterday, the Annex available in the system for the SAT and SUR elements are those highlighted in red at the moment, so meaning the Annex A. But the Annex A is only the header that we can create, and we will see how it is displayed and how we can do that. And then we can create the Annex B and include the different items. And Annex C as well, we can create the header plus the items. So what are the different steps and processes? So we have seen yesterday that everything starts there from the template creation. And actually, once we want to create in the system an SAT, we will focus on this part that I'm highlighting now in yellow. So actually, we go in the system and there is no existing SAT, so we will create that. Okay, so what we do is we create a template header, and then we insert all the different data, the category, the unit type, the branch, the strength, etc., etc. We create the Annex A header, and then Annex B and C. And then, of course, we save it and put this as active once it is validated and can be used to create an SUR. And I will show you that now in the system. I'm not going into all the details because what I would like to do is go directly in the system. So as you have seen there, it's all the different steps that I just mentioned. So we start the creation of an SAT, we create the header, and then we insert the different elements such as the category, we set the category, etc., etc. Then we create Annex A, B, and C. And I just want to show you this slide because this is what you are going to receive after the session, and it's actually kind of guideline which I will follow while I am showing you concretely in the system. So this can be used as a reference for your exercises as well, but I'm not going through all the slides, but you will receive them. So you will see step by step how to create and start. So we will go into to SUR, we'll click on SAT list, we'll click on new, and then we will fill in the line and all the elements, and then you can see there the different steps with the description. So for each single step, you will have this to guide you if you want. Okay, so let me open and go directly in the system, and I think while I am connecting, I'm just checking with Danny if there's any questions at this point. Daniel, can you hear me? No.
Yes, I can hear you well. You hear me?
Fantastic. Yes.
Yes, Aida. Yes, well, no questions, but I think we have to pay special attention to the acronyms because some questions were related to ME or SS, what those concepts stand for. So ME, it's major equipment, Annex B, and SS, it's Annex C, self-sustained. So just to point out that part.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, thank you very much. As I said, and I apologize if I use too many acronyms, but very good that you stop me and then you ask. And in a way or another, the acronyms are all described, and the meaning of the acronyms are there in the PowerPoint. So you can always go back to it if you have missed any information. I'm trying to log in now. Here we go. So by default, my landing page when I log in is the SUR. So you should, if you landing in this page or in any other page, just go first and click on SUR icon. And Danny yesterday showed how to put that in the way you want by using the tool and user preferences, and then normally you are familiar with that, and I'm not going in details with that. I'm just going directly to SUR, and as we mentioned yesterday, you will in the application always see two parts on your screen. The first part on top here is called the list, because obviously it's a list of different SURs that has been created. Okay, and the bottom part is actually the form part. Okay, so if I'm talking about the list part, that's this, and the form part is the bottom. And when you click, as you noticed, maybe when you click on SUR module, you land under SUR list. But as Danny mentioned yesterday, the SATs are, it might not be that obvious, so please pay attention to that. So if you want the creation of the SAT, or if you want to create an SUR from SAT, you have to click in here. So you see SAT list, SUR list, and it's not the same, but it's all under SUR icon and module. Okay. Please, Danny, interrupt me at any time if there's any question that I'm missing in the chat. So, as we have seen in the PowerPoint, the first thing, once you are under SAT list, is to click on New. Actually, you can click on New in the list part or in the form part, okay? And once you have clicked on New, you can see here an empty line. And that's where you will enter the information. You can do, you can enter all the unit categories, unit types, etc. here on the line, on the list part or on the form part, okay? The first step, as I said yesterday, is to choose if you are creating an SAT for a military unit or for a police unit. And today, I will create, to show this as an example, the police, SAT for police. And actually, I just, let me show you. I can delete that. I just want to show you that even if you want to start after category, you cannot, because the first information that you need to insert is this. And once you have done that, then the rest is appearing, you see? So you choose your category, the unit type, the branch. I am doing that randomly and not, it might not be relevant, but I'm just showing you the different steps. So if the information are not accurate or realistic, I apologize about that. So you select based on your need all the different information, and actually when you arrive at the effective date, and this is a part of your the navigation that you have received, the document that you have received yesterday, is how to filter through effective date, and I can show you that. But as you can see here, the default date, the system is putting, oh, I lost my, no, that's the one. So the system is putting as a default date the day of the creation of an SAT. And you can change it if it's not, the SAT is not starting now, then you can use the calendar tool, or you can just enter the date that you want. Oops. So you have two options there, either the calendar or entering it manually. Okay. And actually, once you have done all that, let me recreate a new one to see, to show you how this is triggered. Is the SAT name, how this is created. So again, I create an SAT for police. You see the date is the today date, and the statute is draft. It's always as default, the statute is always draft, and the date is always the date of the creation. And once I am changing the role, I don't know if you noticed, the SAT name is created automatically. And actually it is composed of the unit type, the branch, and the unit size. And this is the name of your SAT. Okay. I don't know if there is any question before I go further. Let me double check with Danny.
Yes, Zaira. We do have a couple of questions related to the navigation part, especially if you want to, the different planners want to go from one page to another, whether they can use the Internet Explorer back arrow or not. They can, but it's always recommended to go and click on the different icons rather than clicking on the back arrow, because sometimes we do have problems in refreshing. And I think Leah is asking whether we have a list of already pre-approved SATs, depending on the unit type, that they can have access to.
Yes. So for the approved SATs, as I mentioned yesterday, they're in the production server, in the live application. You will have 13 already approved SATs that can be used to create the SUR. And actually, you can, I think you shown that yesterday, but it's part of the navigation. You can filter, or based on what you want. So all the different columns, you can filter them. If, for example, you are you want an SAT for combat, military combat, and so then you have them, and you can filter every element in here. So even on the effective dates, you can filter them up and down, and also the statute. If you want only the active ones, then they will be here. So hope this answers the questions. But yes, you will have in the production 13 validated and approved SAT. Otherwise, Danny yesterday showed the query, and so if you are, for example, looking for a combat SAT, then you go and you have them all there. You can also use, let me go back, the query assistant, as Danny showed yesterday. If you want different elements of the SAT, so you can do that as Danny showed yesterday. Voila. I hope this answers. Yeah. Yes. Now I have them all. Okay. So I think this is the one that I created first. And let me make sure that we can see the form part. Okay, so you see here all the elements that have been entered in the line, in the list part, are automatically displayed in here. And so I didn't mention this, but you also have the remark box, free text box, where you can answer anything you want. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I did. Okay. So now let's see how to create in an SAT. I will talk about the expiring date later, together with the different status. If you would just give me a few minutes and I will answer to that. So this the name of the SAT, I repeat myself again, the name of the SAT is created automatically, so you don't have to create the name. And actually it is impossible for user to create a name because it is triggered and created automatically by the system. And actually the name of the SAT is composed of the unit type, the branch, and the unit size, okay? So you only have to change the row. For example, you are creating a new one, you change the row, and then the name appears automatically. And once it is done, it is an hyperlink, sorry. You click on it to open the SAT. You have to click on the link to be able to create your annexes. And the best practice, also to answer to one of your questions, the best practice is to keep the statute as draft while you are you have not finished, and until the SAT is not validated and final, it will remain as a draft. Okay, but we will see later how to change the statutes. So once you have clicked on the hyperlink, the SAT name, this appears. And actually you have all the information that you have entered, and you can see at the bottom the Annex A header, the Annex B header, and the Annex C header. Okay, and it's coming first with the Annex A. So to create an Annex A, very easy. You go down there and you see New button. You just click on it, and the only element that you have to enter at this time, at this moment, is the unit strength and any remark if you have any. Okay. So imagine I have 160 people. So you can either type or use, you know, the calculator tool, I call it. Here you go. Okay. I am just, voilà. And that's actually it for Annex A at this stage, because the only thing that we are creating for in the system for Annex A is the header. The rest is done outside the system for the SUR as well. Once this is done, you continue and you click on Annex B header. You know, you see the tab here, and actually you have two parts. Here you can enter, you have to first start with the header, and then you can enter the different items. Okay. And actually, if you notice, you cannot enter any item without creating a header. So let's start and create an Annex B header. And actually, you don't have anything to do apart from inserting comments or any remarks that is needed there. And once this is created, you've noticed that the new button and delete button now is activated. Okay. So Annex B covers the major equipment. So actually, what you are going to do is insert all the major equipment that is needed. And you noticed I click on New, and a line appeared here where I can enter what I want. So to do that, I have different options. And for example, so you have to start with the creation, with inserting the description. And I want, I'm looking for telephones for my units, okay? So I do insert telephone, and actually it's appearing automatically as soon as I press on enter. But this is not very how to say, maybe there's different sets of telephone and it's not the one that you want. So to look for more details, you can always, you see the lookup here. You click on it, and all the list of major equipments appears. And actually, this is all the equipment as stated in the COE manual. Okay, and so you have a find functionality here, and you can choose. Let me show you all the details. So that's the details for every single item. You see the different items, the status, the category, the subcategory, and the description. And you might not know the category and subcategory, but you might know better the description. So I would recommend you to use description as a find field to search, because it's broader. Here you go, and it gives you all the elements and all the items that contain telephone as a description. Okay, and once you have selected, you click on OK, as I've done. It will appear in your line item, you see, and what you have to do is to insert the quantity that you need. Okay, so for example, you only need 10 telephones. So that is how to insert the different items. I will do another one to show you. For example, you are looking for containers. And so you have all the different elements in here. So you select, and it will appear here. And you, again, don't forget to insert the quantity. So that's, you can carry on and insert as many items as you want, you know, one by one, and inserting all the quantity. And you have always the box there, the remark free text box, where you can put any comments that is needed. Okay. For example, you have inserted containers, but that's not the right one that you need. You've noticed here that you can delete items. Okay. And you will always receive a pop-up message asking you if you are sure that you want to delete this one. Here you go. And then it's not on your list anymore. And this is good because it's still in draft, so you can add and delete as much as you can, or as many items as you can, as you want, sorry. And you've noticed as well that you can delete the header, but please, if you delete here, you delete everything, so the items as well. So pay attention to that. But if you think that all what you have done is wrong, then yes, delete the header. Otherwise, it's better to clean and delete the items. So that is for Annex B, and actually Annex C is very similar. You would need to click on the Annex C header tab here, and then you see Annex C and Annex C line items appearing. So you would have first to create the header, and then you will be able to insert the different items. And it's very similar to what we have done. And actually here, it goes automatically to the subcategory where you can click, either enter what you want, but you can also click, and you see here all the lists. You know, page by page. So once you have clicked on one line item, you click on OK. Oops, it's a bit slow. Okay, yes. And you see that it's in the Annex C line item, and what you have to do is to mention or to specify who is the service provider. And you have, as you can see, a drop-down list with the different possibilities. Who is going to provide the self-sustainment element there? It's either UN or the contributing country, or it's not applicable, or it's maybe someone else. And there, maybe if it's other, you can always add a remark, or it's the African Union. So in here, that's the different options that you have for the service provider. And then you also have to insert the applicable strength. So for how many people this specific line or item is needed for. So we, in our SAT, we have 160 people, or the unit strength is 160. So maybe this is not applicable for all of them. So you can either put 160 or less. Oh, oops. No, that's not what I want. Sorry. And again, you can answer any comments if needed. And you can carry on like that and insert as many items as you want. And again, let me just add another one, then I can show you that you can also delete it if it's not needed. So even if you have chosen everything and put all the information needed, you can delete. For example, you don't need the medical, so you can delete this item. And again, a pop-up will appear, and that's it. So before talking about the status of the expiring dates, Danny, is there any question in the chat that needs to be answered? Yes.
Hello. Yes, well, we have plenty of them. We are monitoring all of them and trying to give answer to all questions, but please do not hesitate to put questions on the chat, because we will download the chat. If for whatever reason we were not able to respond on due time to those questions, we will do it the following day, as we are updating on a daily basis our Q&A documents that actually comes from previous sessions from military planners as well. So you have a holistic view of all the Q&A that we have been gathering through the different sessions. Yes, we have a specific questions related to the number, if there is a limitation in characters when you are inputting some remarks in some of the line items as well. I believe that is 256 characters, but we will double check on that. Obviously, we do have a limitation in terms of free text. And then Julius was asking as well if they are trying to find an item that is not there in the lookup, whether there will be an official procedure to request an item to be presented in UCMS.
So yeah, this is the special case equipment, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm not mistaken, under the SAT, this is not possible to insert any special equipment that is not in the SUR list, but it is feasible on when you create an SUR, if I'm not mistaken. So we will see how to do that once we create an SUR, okay, and how to do that in the system. So please keep that in mind, and hopefully I will answer to that later when I will create the SUR, and we will talk about the special case equipment. So good, thank you, Danny. And yes, all the questions will be gathered, and we will answer to them and share that later with all of you. So actually, this is the creation of an SAT. You have finished and done. So at the moment, as we've seen, the status is of the SAT is on draft. Oh, I'm frozen. Sorry. Sometimes the system is. I hope I don't have to. Okay, let me try, because sometimes it happens, but that's fine. And actually, that's very good, because it will show you that even if I have not saved somehow my SAT, the data that I have entered are saved automatically. And I will be able to find all my information and elements that I have entered there. Here we go, SAT, and where is it? Yes, so that's the one that I was working on, right? And I open it, it's still there, and as you can see, all the elements that I have entered are displayed there and are saved. And I have a weird information there. I don't know why. Oh, I have two headers. Interesting. This is the first time that this happens. Huh. Anyway, so as you've seen, all the information that I have saved are still there. Okay, so if this happens to you, no worries. You just disconnect and reconnect again. And to finish with the SAT, and then I go to the SUR creation, is the status. So the SAT has three different statuses: the draft, active, and expired. The draft is when still is not valid, and with this, actually, you can see you cannot create. You see the button here is gray. You cannot create an SUR from there. Okay, so it needs to be still validated. Okay, but once I put that active, you see that I cannot delete it anymore, and that I can create an SUR from there. And when it's expired, meaning that this is not valid anymore, you cannot delete and you cannot create an SUR. You cannot delete it because this SAT might be linked to other SUR, and actually it will just to record all the information because it has been validated at a certain point. So we will not delete the SAT. It will be expired. And once once this is done, you can even insert a date of expiration. And actually, you can insert the date of expiration, and it will be, let me do a test with you, because I haven't, I would change the active date, and I will put yesterday date, and I will see how the system will react. Huh. So it is not expiring automatically. Okay, I need to. Okay, interesting. So I'm still testing some of the features together with you. So here you go. You can answer the date before, knowing that by, I don't know, the 23rd of January, this will be expired. So I will actually leave it active for the purpose of the demo. But you have seen now how to, the different stages of the SAT, and how to insert the date for expiration date. Is there any question? Let me just double check.
Yes, Aida.
Yes.
There were questions in terms of how to share an SAT. And there is no per se, let's say, a way to in the system to share a document per se by clicking a button. But if a police planner is creating an SAT and leaves it on the draft mode, the rest of the police planners will see that SAT in a draft status in the list of records. So in a way, you are sharing your the documents that you're creating in the list of records, regardless whether we are talking about SATs or SURs. So you will be accessing other planners' work as well, based on the status as well. So in a way, it works like some sort of inbox of emails, right? Each of the records will be listed for you to take a look at it, but you cannot share by email, or you cannot share by clicking on a particular, let's say, functionality in the system with other planners. But you can see what other planners have done in the list of records. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Danny. And I think this is very good point. And I can say that the best way would be to export the line item record. We can, let me go to menu. And I think the export functionality will be shown tomorrow once we talk about the reporting, but I can show you that quickly. And you can actually export here, you see. So you go on your SAT list, right? You have menu, and you can export, and I think you can export as an Excel, but I don't see it. But this will definitely be part of our tomorrow session, but at least you have already some element of answers to your question.
Yes, I just, although we will show that tomorrow. So, but basically you are exporting a CSV file, which is basically an Excel file. They will have to convert afterwards. But once you click on next, you will be opening an Excel file that then you can modify accordingly as you wish. Actually, that's able, but we'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on that, so please, you can try. You can try and export because you have the instructions on your guidelines and navigation, so you can always try, and then we will definitely review that tomorrow. Okay. I can also add that you can export from anywhere. Excel would be tab delimited delimited and comma separated. Okay, that's just more details, and then we'll see that tomorrow. I think that's all about SAT. And what I would like to do now is quickly go back to my PowerPoint. To show you the difference, you know, the overview of the steps for creating an SUR, statement of unit requirement, from an SAT. So as I said, the SAT is the basis, is your baseline to create an SUR, and this will help you. This will avoid to start from scratch, and we will see how to do that. The creation of an SUR, now we are really going in the main topic of the module, is based on an SAT. We will draft an SUR, and actually this is the second phase that we are showing there on the screen. So what are the different steps? We have an existing SAT, and we select the SAT. We have to insert the mission. Remember, the SAT have no missions or any unit specialization linked to it, okay? So you would have to create that. You would have to insert it. And then you would have only to update the SUR header, because all the information are retrieved from the SAT. So you don't have to create all Annex A, B, and C again. It's already there. And you would have only to adapt it, update it, add or not the things that you need. So once this is done, this is all in the system, and then you would have to download your main body template, and I will show you where to find it from the system document part. And you would have to update it outside the system, okay? And as I mentioned yesterday, there are a few elements, a few parts of the creation of your SUR that are done outside the system still today. So for example, the unit organization would need to be done outside the system. The other additional annexes as well. And then you generate the entire SUR for preview and validation. Okay, and Danny tomorrow will show you how to export the elements that are done in the system to put everything together outside the system and make it sign outside the system. Okay. So another thing that I would like to mention is the special case equipment. So you have asked the question, is this feasible if there's an element or an equipment that is not in the COE manual list or in the UCMS system. So this can be done, and I will show you how to do that for the in the SUR and in the MOU. Okay. Yeah, that's just a repetition of what I've just said. And actually, again, I'm not going through all the details, but in the PowerPoint, you will be able to see all the steps that I will do now in the system. They are in the PowerPoint. So no worries if you miss anything or you did not, go back to the PowerPoint and follow step by step. What I'm going to do now is just following the steps that are on the PowerPoint. Okay? And again, you will have always a description for every single step. You will have a description of what to do. So let me just see if from there, so you remember the ACT that I created, I have put that as an active. So imagine this has been validated and is live and you can use it. So how to do that? So you select the SAT that is fitting your need, okay? And in my case, I will choose the one that I just created. And actually, it's very easy because I click on Create SUR. Since it's active, I can do that. Remember, the buttons are not great anymore. And you can do that on the list part or on the form part, okay? So I do that here. And as I mentioned, the first thing that you need to do is to mention for which mission you are creating your SUR. So in my case, I would create an SUR for MINUSMA. And again, it's random information that I'm putting here. And the unit specialization is SWOT. Okay? And as you notice here, the unit category cannot be changed because, remember, I selected an SAT for police. And I submit. Here we go. And as you see, I go directly automatically on the SUR part. Okay, and all the information are automatically displayed based on the SAT that I have created. So do you remember I created an SAT, I selected and I created my SUR from an SAT for police, law enforcement, policing, and all that is automatically displayed. And as you can see here, they even say that this SUR has been created from an SAT and they give the name. Okay, so this actually is the SUR header that you need to update. And you can, of course, do that on the line part, sorry, the list part here in this line, or you can do that in the form part. And as you can see, there is always a red star when the field is mandatory. So the system will not allow you to move or go elsewhere. Oh yeah, huh. It did. Let me find it. Normally it should not let you move. Here we go. Without completing all the mandatory fields. So let me, for example, oh, interesting. And if I, oh, here you go. So I cannot carry on without completing all the fields, mandatory fields. So I need to complete the unit location. And by the way, one question that was asked in the previous sessions was, can we enter several locations? And actually, it's a free text box, so you can enter as many locations as you want. Okay. For example, this is linked because some missions do have several locations, so your unit can be split in different locations, and yes, you can enter that in here. You enter the unit structure and the police troop strength. And I will do that right now. You can either enter that with manually. And I don't know if you see, or you have noticed, but once I entered this, the Annex A has been automatically filled in or completed here. The unit strength here is linked to the strength here. So if I change this, this will change. You see? So it is automatically retrieved. And I don't know why, but I see 2 lines. So maybe it's just because of the training environment. But normally you should not see 2 lines. You are only seeing 1 line. Okay. This is the SUR header, okay? And if you notice as well, something that was not in the SAT is created by, and you can see my name there. So you can actually track or see who has created the SUR. Again, the effective date as default is the date of the day that you are creating your SUR. Okay, so you have, if it's not valid as of the day when you create it, you will need to change this. And we will talk about the status and sub-status later once we finish presenting all the different annexes. Okay, so I leave that 2 points for later, but just pay attention that note that the status by default is always draft, and the sub-status is always work in progress. Okay. So, any question before I continue with the annexes?
Hi, Zaida. Yes, some students were not seeing that some SURs were created without an SAT. And of course, that's, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow's session, creating an SUR from scratch. So they're fully aware of that, and so they shall be waiting for tomorrow's session. But yes, you can create an SUR from scratch. And Leah, Angela Biason has a very good point in terms of, although that's Annex A, but whether in UCMS we can identify the number of female and male troops. So, because that's actually a part of the uniform gender parity strategy signed by the Secretary General. So, for the moment, we cannot, at least from my side, I cannot respond 100%, but definitely we will get back to her and the rest of the students with the answer to that.
Yes, yeah, and actually I have already a starting answer, if I may say. So we can include this as an enhancement, an enhancement, but for now, we'd suggest using the remarks to do that. Put that in the note box of your SUR, and you can, for example, if I click in here. So this is my SUR, okay? You can, once you talk about your strength, you can always insert remarks, and then there you can put some description, or you can also use the unit structure box to do so. I hope this can this answers your question. So you can use both boxes in the header. So unit remark or unit structure, or in Annex A remark. That's very, very valid point. And yes, to confirm what Danny just said, so there are some SURs that are linked to an SAT, and if you don't see anything like the third one on the screen, that means that the SUR has been created from scratch. So there's no SAT link to it. That's it. And Shalini is just confirming that the recording of gender for troop strength is something that will be done for the next work package. So yes. Thank you guys. So the actual female members would come from monthly strength reports from the field. This is included in the future scope of UCMS. Okay. Voila. So back to my SUR, and I think that's this one. Okay, so, oh, by the way, I will just go back and I would like to mention something. So, I don't know if you noticed, my SUR document, the name of my SUR is this document number, is also created automatically, okay? And you can see how it is structured, and you can even see here at the bottom in the form part how it is structured, okay? But this is something that the system creates automatically for you, okay? And it gives the type of documents, so it's an SUR, it gives you the mission, it gives you what is it, unit type or the branch, etc., etc. Okay, it gives, this is automatically created by the system. And again, it's an hyperlink that you need to click on in order to see the annexes. Okay, and as I said, since we are creating an SUR from an SAT, all the information that I have created earlier on my SAT are automatically displayed in the annexes as well. Okay, so as I said, the Annex A is only the header, and this box troop, this mandatory field actually, troop and police strength, is linked to the Annex A header. If you change the number here, this will be changed. So Annex B, again, automatically filled in, and actually you can, since it's a draft, your SUR is still in draft, you can delete the annex completely if you think this is not relevant for you, or you can clean and update the items at the bottom, and you can add or delete any of them as we did for SAT. So for example, in here, I'm just adding whatever I would need to enter the quantity. Oh gosh. And you can insert any remarks that you want. And if you delete, again, there's this pop-up showing. And you can delete the full Annex B, for example, and then you will receive the same message. But please bear in mind that if you delete the Annex B header, everything will be deleted, okay? Okay, that's Annex B. Let me, yes. Annex C. So you update as you enter, insert all the elements that you want. You do the same for Annex C. And so normally you should see here the list, but I don't know if the system has saved it, but all the items and the Annex C, but you can add as many items as you want. Okay. And so again, you would need to select the service provider. And I don't know if you noticed, but automatically the system gives you as applicable strength the strength of the unit strength. So it was 160, remember? The troop police strength here, it's 160, and so it's automatically displayed here. So you would have to update this if it's not applicable for all the units. If it's only applicable for half of it, I don't know. Okay, and of course you can enter any remarks and so on and so on. You can, if you don't find your item in the list, in the first 10 elements, you can either go, you know, page by page, or you can run a query, okay? And actually you have a drop-down list under the category, or you can enter any subcategory that you have in mind or you need. So I'm choosing cleaning here, and so here you go, and so you can select it. But again, service provider, don't forget it, and the applicable strength, I will just leave it like that. So this is for Annex B, A, B, and C. I hope this is quite clear, because it's quite similar to what I've just done before when creating the SAT, or all the functionalities are the same for Annex A, B, and C. Okay, and actually the difference now from SAT is that we have attachment and we have audit trail. Okay, so let's go to attachment. Actually, for your SUR, you can add elements. You can add either a file or an URL. Okay, so how to do that? And it would be like an annex to your SUR. So you can add as many attachments as you want, and you see here the format, the type of attachment, the title, the name of your attachment, the size of it, and then who has uploaded. Okay, and you see that my name is in there, and you can also insert URL. So for example, one of your document or one of your annex or is on internet, and so you can copy paste your URL or type it in here and add it. And so people, when they will see your SUR, will be able to see all the different attachments. There, I don't know, and I will ask Shalini, but I see in the chat, is there any limits in terms of size for the attachment? And I will just wait a bit for her answer, but that I'm not sure about it, but I will definitely come back to you on that. The last tab, and then we will end this session with this, is the audit trail. And actually, this is tracking all the steps that you have done for this specific SUR. And that's where I will talk about the statutes, the sub-statutes, and also the effective date. As I mentioned, the effective date by default is the day of the creation of your SUR, right? Imagine it's not effective today, but on the 1st of February. So you can either type the date or use this calendar tool and search for the month, the year, and then the specific date, and you're done. Okay, so either for every single field that is requiring a date, you have two options. So you either type it, so it's the day / month / year, or you use this calendar tool. Okay. at the moment, the approval process is done outside the system. It's not automatized, but it will be at a certain moment, okay? But however, once you have finished all that and you are ready to proceed with the approval, the best practice is to change the status and the substatute manually. So I was mentioning that yesterday, that for the moment it's done manually. The options are there. So as you can see, you have a draft status, internal concurrence, or internally concurred. So once you want to send it, then you can change the statute and substatute. And actually, those elements will be captured here in the audit trail item. And let me just move on from this screen and come back to it. Here you go. You see my changes and when it has been done. Okay, you'll see the old value and the new value, and this will help tracking the different steps. So it's very important. So hopefully this will be done automatically at a certain moment, but for now we will ask you to do that manually, to track to track where is your statute, where is your SUR. Sorry. I don't know. This is actually the end of my presentation. I don't know if there's any question before explaining what we are expecting from you as an exercise. Danny, I don't know.
Yep. Yes, we do have comments and maybe some answers to the, for example, to the limitation in terms of attachments and size.
Yes.
The technical colleagues in UCMS are suggesting not to attach more than 5 megabytes of documentation. It would not be recommended, but to the best of their knowledge, there is no per se limitation in terms of attachments. And then we do have comments in terms of the SUR will become uneditable once the substatus is signed. So to reverse the substatus and make the document editable again, a service request must be raised in any self-service.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay. Thank you very much, Danny. I don't know if there's any additional question or if there's any point that I did not cover, but I think for today was a lot of information that you might need to digest and make all those information yours. The best way to do that is to go in the system and practice. So that's why we have prepared some exercises for you. Here we go. So 2 exercises actually. The first one is only for administrator with users with admin access. Okay, some of you in my email, you will see that have been granted an admin role. Okay, and I have highlighted them in the list of participants. So what are you going to receive today is 2 documents. One Word document with the instructions for the exercises. The first part is describing how to create an ACT, and this is only for admin user. Okay. So if you're not part of the admin user, so you are 5 or 6 of you only, go directly to page number 3 or page number 3, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, and there is create an SUR from an SAT. So creation of your statement of unit requirement from a standard Annex template. And there you have all the steps, and it's very detailed what we are expecting from you. Okay, so this is a guided exercise where you will have the different steps. You also have the screenshots where to click the different buttons, so no worries about that. It is quite easy to follow and use as a guideline. The second document is an Excel with what we call the credentials. So it's actually all the information or data that you need to enter to create either your SAT or your SUR. So for each of you, every single participant have different data. So please do follow the Excel and the data that we have entered there for you. We tried to make that as realistic as possible and as much, how to say that, linked to your daily work. So that's the exercises. If there's any question, we are still available, and Danny will take over. Be available for you to answer the question during 1 hour, just as of now. So if there is no other element, Danny, is there anything that I missed in the chat that needs to be answered before we stop the recording?
No, I don't think so. We are monitoring the chat, and we are exporting to Word, and from there we will clean it up and put it in the main master document for Q&A to make it available for all the students after the sessions. Thank you very much for the comments and the questions. Today was really interesting, and thank you to our colleagues in New York for the support as well.
Fantastic. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Shalini and the team over there for your presence. Very useful as usual, and for answering the questions. So thank you so much. So let me just stop the recording.